It's awkward occurrence or awkward entertainment. So, more protests are going on today. There were a few protests that went on yesterday or the day before yesterday. All these protests are government organized. It's the same people who put you on lockdown are the ones who organized this protest. They may organize it under different names of organizations. One person or one group organized under a private Facebook organization, which government. InfoWars organized protests. InfoWars is Alice Jones. InfoWars is government. And you have more government protests going on in Ohio, New Hemisphere, and I believe somewhere in Europe. So let's just read something I pulled up. A few hundred demonstrators cheered and waved signs outside the New Hemisphere State House on Saturday. They're probably still out there during the call to reopen the state so they can go to work. So they're not protesting about the new guidelines that are crippling to freedoms and liberties. They're protesting about getting back to work. So they're protesting about the wrong things. They have their mind in the wrong places. Because don't protest about getting back to work. Protest about this new norm that all these articles, all these people keep talking about, this new norm that's against liberties and freedoms. Let's continue. Members of the crowd carry signs with slogans such as "Live Free or Die." The state mottos, others included "Restore Jobs." Others said "Kiss My Constitution," which is dumb to say "Kiss My Constitution." You can continue to read on yourself right there. Texas anti-lockdown protest going on today. That's Texas. All business is essential. Again, they're talking about going back to work, but they're not talking about the things that are to come from this novel virus that's being pushed worldwide. More pictures of the protests. New Hemisphere back to work. The sign should say, "Don't tread on my rights and liberties," with this new reopening guideline that Trump has in place. So they won't protest the things that are important because this is, again, government-controlled opposition protests. So they're going to say dumb things like, "Do Hemisphere back to work." But they're not going to mention anything about contact tracing, privacy invasion, enforcement of testing, people not being able to go back to work if they're not tested for something they definitely don't have. They're not talking about the logic that they're given, which is you can have the coronavirus but not ever show symptoms. That's illogic. That's not logical. Any virus you have, you will show symptoms. But they're not protesting about the important things. They're not protesting about the nonsense that's being preached to them on TV. Okay? They're talking about this government-funded organization protest is talking about getting back to work. So they're controlling the narrative of protest, and the real people aren't out there protesting. These are just a bunch of old, brainwashed, maybe young people out there protesting about nothing. Let's continue over to YouTube right quick. Let me see if I can get over to YouTube. I can go over to YouTube right quick. YouTube. Okay, let's ride this protest thing. Now, where is this protest? Right here.
600 people watching. Thanks all for tuning in.
So this is the protest in Ohio. 600 people watching.
This is Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh no, only 20 people watching.
Wisconsin and Brookfield.
Only 20 people watching. But as you can see, people just waving flags, honking horns.
Here, because there wasn't any opportunities for them to gather in Appleton.
Let's listen to him talk.
Seeing if we can hold it steady. The wind has been blowing, as you can tell by the flags, that we've got a steady stream of winds.
Mr. Blaine is ignorant. Said they're going to regret this when they can't breathe. Yeah, they're not getting any type of virus by being out there. Because I'm pretty sure Mr. Blaine has been outside his house for the past 40 days and he hasn't caught a virus. Neither have you caught anything for the past 40 days. Doesn't take 40 days for symptoms to show. It takes 14 days. It's been 14 days times 2 times 3, and nobody's sick that you know. Let's continue to read. Tim True, just no, don't care. Let's go ahead and type. They probably gonna block me for typing the truth, which is okay. So control opposition protests again is government man-made protests. They really don't protest the real issues, which is going to be the things they implement in phase 1, 2, 3 of the guidelines for reopening the country. All you have to do is go to Google, type in phases for reopening the country. You'll get the articles. You'll see what we are talking about, the things they want to implement. In the coming weeks, there will be more articles that go deeper into detail, and you will see how your freedoms and liberties will be taken. The new norm, they want the new norm to be permanent. They want a new reality for human beings. And that new reality is not great for human beings. Again, let's turn it up. So, I see some young people, I see some old people, I see a Mr. a racist, and they're just waving flags saying hello. I guess some have masks on, some don't. Really don't matter because you're not going to get sick. No one in that area is sick. Don't be surprised if the government state-ran news comes out and say people at the protest got sick. So they're going to extend lockdowns, or they're going to make lockdowns strict. Some states have already said protesting is non-essential. Protesting is essential because when you have your rights, liberties trampled over, you go out in the streets and you protest and you make noise, okay? Okay? The protests are essential to freedom. Not essential to democracy, essential to freedom. Freedom. Let's keep going, keep going. And the people, again, did not create these protests. Government officials created these protests. And the people just came out. And I'm not going to stay here long. Let's get from here. Did anybody reply? Did anybody reply? Nobody replied again. Again, let's one more word with them. Government, organize protest. And that's going to be it for this live stream for me doing that. Okay, this has been Awkward Occurrence with Awkward Entertainment, and I will see you in the next video.